guys, I had posted earlier that I was going to be making lasagna. Look at my hair. Obviously, don't look in the mirror. I was posting a video earlier about I'm making lasagna. I'm taking it to my kids' school. It's teacher appreciation, and somebody asked me to make lasagna, and so I'm making lasagna. Now, lasagna is one of those things that I think most people love it, but it's one of those things that you don't make it that often. It's kind of like the turkey dinner at Thanksgiving. It's like we all love it, but we don't make it during the year. And I think there are two reasons why. Number one, lasagna takes freaking forever. It's a labor of love. It's a lot of work. And two, it's expensive. The ingredients, if you're buying good ingredients, it's a little costly. So that being said, it's worth it. It's so good. You don't have to make it every week, but it's one of those things that if you like Italian food, it's worth making. So, hi everybody. So pop on. I'm just going to talk through this. I'm just going to layer them together. I was making my sauce earlier, and I think a meat sauce for a lasagna is something that has to cook. Hi, Fran. Yes, with newspaper. What's with newspaper? Sounds like we're training animals. For me, you want to cook that sauce for hours, personally. So this is all made from scratch. This is lean ground beef, good quality, bulk Italian sausage, and I tend to like the sweet Italian sausage because I like a sweeter sauce for a lasagna. So going back for a minute. So to me, there's different sauces for different kinds of pasta. And because lasagna tends to be rich and you're using a lot of cheese and a lot of other things, I think the combination of salty, sweet, savory, sweet works really well for me. I also have crushed red pepper flakes, so I add a little back heat to it. Not a lot, nothing to be like, oh my gosh, this is hot. But I'm using San Marzano tomatoes. We've talked about those before. The region that they grow in, they're sweet. They just have a lot of flavor. A lot of stewed tomatoes just don't have flavor. So highly suggest getting San Marzanos. They're expensive. They're $5 at least a can. There's 4 cans in here. So, right there, it's a lot of money. I get it. But you don't have to make this much. I use a lot of garlic. I like garlic, so a lot of fresh garlic. I use a red onion in this sauce. I don't always use a red onion, but in this sauce I do today, and maybe tomorrow I won't, but that's what I'm doing. I use a little dried fennel, a lot of fresh basil. And you know how you do that? You make a chiffonade, you know what that is, where you roll up the leaves and then you cut them really thin. I think fresh basil is really nice. Hey, Bruce. I also am one of those people, I like dried herbs and fresh herbs together. I think they just do something different to your sauce. So this time of year, a lot of you, I don't know where you live, you can pop me below, tell me where you're watching from. We're in Southern California, so we're lucky. We have access to most everything all year round. Growing in our garden or whatever. We've had some rain and it's really cold for us and seasonally cold, but my herbs aren't doing so good. They're a little like, they've been frozen. So I have some have survived, but not everything. But anyway, fresh basil. I like oregano in this sauce. I actually have a couple dashes of Worcestershire. I have red wine in here. I have my new thing I was talking about on another video. Let me see if I can find it. I love this. I don't know why. I feel like it's like a magic potion. But this is Trader Joe's. Not my sponsor. I just like them. They have this umami seasoning. And I'm telling you, I'm sold. I'm putting it in any kind of like savory rich dish. Umami is another sense, like sweet, salty, savory, all these different senses on our tongue. Umami is found in mushrooms. It's found in a lot of soy. It gives you that kind of, when you taste it, you're like, hello. MSG is a form of umami. It just is. So I like this. If you don't like mushrooms, don't add it. But what's in this is kosher salt, dried onions, ground mustard seed, porcini mushrooms, white button mushrooms, crushed red pepper, black pepper, and dried thyme. I think this is fabulous. Irvine, well, that's not far. Hey, Angela, you add Worcestershire sauce? Yeah, I do that. I definitely do Worcestershire because it's got anchovy. And again, that Worcestershire, I've talked about this before, is umami. It gives you that richness that you just don't get. I also have concentrated beef stock in here. You can buy it like when it comes. It's almost like a gelatinous. It comes in a little tube or a little like plastic. you can make it yourself. I'm all out of stock, so I don't have anything fresh anymore. But I like to enrich the flavor with some stock. Okay, so rich sauce. It's been cooking for like 4 hours. My son's just coming home from Scout, so I'm gonna have a little, hey mommy. Anyway, so the sauce is key. Letting it cook low and slow all day, so the flavors are just rich. And again, I want sweet, and I want it to be meaty, and I also want to have like a little like undertone of a little spice in there. Nothing like over the top. I don't want the teachers to be like, oh my gosh, this is so spicy. It's not. It's just like in the back. The next thing, you have so much information out there about lasagna noodles. And the no-boil ones are out there, and they're like a big deal. And I'm going to be old school about it. I still think you should boil your noodles. Why? I think the product is better. My dog is barking. This is why I don't do videos all the time. I say I'm going to do them, and then I don't come on because it's like there's too much going on. So what you want to do is you want to boil your water, obviously. Get it to a roaring boil. Lots of water. Salt. Heavily. Salt, salt, salt. You want to season that pasta water. Then you want to boil these lasagna noodles al dente. And then you want to lay them out on parchment. Why? Because you want everything ready when you're going to assemble your lasagna. You want to have all your layers, everything ready to go. The next thing that's really important, and I kind of put this in my post earlier, I had said no cottage cheese. Look, there's very few things I'm going to judge you on, but if you put cottage cheese in your lasagna, I'm judging you. I'm just telling you right now. Yuck. That is so like, that's wrong. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Ricotta, full milk ricotta. Don't do skim milk. Fat does not make us fat people. It's sugar. Hey, Fran. I know the dog. Ike. My husband had a narcotic dog a long time ago who was named Ike. He was a black lab, and so we have a dog named Ike. Not the same one, but anyway, I digress. So, where was I going with that? Oh, ricotta. No cottage cheese, people. That's just gross. I mean, seriously. Ricotta cheese. This is like almost 3 tubs of the giant size because I'm making a lot. I've got 4 eggs in here. I've got fontina, Parmesan, good Parmesan, mozzarella, Parmesan Reggiano. What else? I have like provolone, Asiago. Okay, so there's like 8 cheeses in this. There's a lot. Don't have to do that. But I think key for sure, mozzarella and Parmesan. Good Parmesan. Please don't do the Kraft. Please don't do the Kraft. I'm just saying. If you do, you're still my friend. But if you're doing cottage cheese in your lasagna, we have to have a talk. Okay? We're not doing that anymore. It's just not right. So the key to this is you want to whip this up. I put my eggs in here. I put my ricotta. I whip it up with a whisk, like a heavy wire whisk. I'm putting fresh parsley if you have it. If not, do dried. That really gives a freshness to it. You're going to add all your different cheeses in here. And then the last thing that is so important that so few people do in a ricotta mix is fresh nutmeg. I am telling you guys, I promise you. I know it sounds weird. This is not cinnamon. This is nutmeg. Nutmeg adds such a beautiful back note to creamy sauces. If you're going to make a bechamel, and I was going to do that for this lasagna, but I just don't have time. I don't even know what my family's eating for dinner tonight. We're probably going to have top ramen or cereal because I'm busy making this lasagna for teacher appreciation tomorrow. But a bechamel sauce is beautiful on lasagna. You can actually make a cheese-free lasagna if you want doing a bechamel, and that's a real traditional style of Italian lasagna, and it's amazing. It really is. But it's all about that developed flavor in this sauce. The sauce is everything for lasagna. If you're opening a jar of Prego, it's just not going to have that complexity that you want in a sauce. So if that's what you do, that's fine. I'm suggesting that maybe you doctor it up a little bit. You can, add your own meat to it. You can add some fresh ingredients to try and doctor it up, and then kind of graduate yourself over to doing just your San Marzano tomatoes in a can and just starting doing your thing, okay? So this, again, has the ricotta cheese, full milk, whole milk, mozzarella, not part skim, fontina, provolone, Asiago, Parmesan. I mean, it's just, the sky's the limit. And again, you just do what you like. It's not a big deal. And then parsley and nutmeg. Such an amazing, I love it, okay? So you're going to do that. You're going to set that aside. In my bowl, I have my grated cheese. I have mozzarella, the same cheeses. They're all ready to go, okay? So, before I even start, you could probably make a keto version using eggplant. Yes, so you can make a keto version of lasagna by taking a spiralizer, or if you have the KitchenAid peeler, you can make strips of zucchini. So the key is, eggplant's a little tricky, you can do it. You want to sweat them out a little bit, if that makes sense. So you're going to take a roller, a vegetable roller, and you can make long strips. You can actually make like noodles, if you will, out of zucchini. And I would do zucchini over eggplant personally. And then what you want to do is you want to like lay it out on a wire pan with like a sheet underneath it and let it kind of weep. There's a lot of liquid in those vegetables. And if you just do it right away, it's just going to become this soupy mess. And so I learned that the hard way. So let them sit out, let them drain, you know, suspend them on a wire rack above another, you know, pan where you can catch it, and let them kind of just weep for a couple hours. And then yes, you can put your same ricotta, because this is keto, same ricotta mixture, make your own sauce, and then you put your ricotta and roll them up. I like to roll them up instead of doing lasagna, but you could do lasagna, it works. Okay, so where was I? I get so distracted. Okay, great idea. So what I'm gonna do to this sauce, again, I like a smooth meat sauce. And I've got whole San Marzano tomatoes in there, I've got torn basil, I've got all kinds of stuff going on. And it's gorgeous. I mean, can you guys see the sauce? I mean, it's beautiful. It smells good, the flavors are good, but see, there's a whole tomato in there, and I don't want that. Picky. So I'm gonna take an immersion blender, and I'm doing this live, and this could be hilarious, because I could just have red everywhere, but you know, we'll see. I have this plugged in, and I'm gonna turn my sauce off so that I don't have a disaster. And these are great because you can do this right in your pot. So the idea is just kind of go up and down. You don't want to pull it up out of the water, out of the sauce, because it's gonna fly. My way to make lasagna, find a good Italian restaurant. Yeah, but you know what? Very few Italian restaurants have a good lasagna. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, there's a great place in Corona, if you're local, called Con Amare. And they're off of, I want to say, it might be Dos Lagos, or it might be the one before that. If you're from the Corona area, you know, it's where the movie theater is. I think it's one before Dos Lagos. And it's by the movie theater, kind of in the corner. It's called Con Amare, and they make a traditional bechamel lasagna that, to this date, was one of the best ones I've had, and I've been to Italy. So anyway, kudos to them. So I'm just going to use my immersion blender if you're just tuning in. And what this does is it, first of all, it's going to get any big chunks out of here. And I know it sounds weird to be blending up meat, but I'm not going to like pulverize it to death. I just want to get a nice smooth texture so that it just looks nice, okay? So I'm just using my eye. I can see there's a tomato there. I'm just kind of smashing that one down, and then I can just use it to go through and just see if there's anything. There's a tomato right there, I see it. And it's gonna have some chunks, that's fine, but I like the texture of that. I think it looks better, okay? And then this part pops right off, maybe, and then that can just go in the sink, okay? So if you don't have an immersion blender, mine is a Cuisinart brand. I like it. It comes with like a chopper and a whisk. It's just a good thing to have. You know, I'm not like really big on gadgets, but to me, an immersion blender is so perfect for so many different sauces. Soup, oh my gosh, it's like, you gotta have it. So the key to layering, I need like a spoon rest. Where are all my spoon rests? Here they are. I hate a messy kitchen. So I'm making it in these tin pans. I don't want to hear it. These are going into chafing dishes for a luncheon. So I don't want to hear, this is not the pan I would make lasagna in if I was making it for my family. I would use a deeper pan, stainless steel, but I'm doing this for a luncheon, okay? So don't send me messages about my tin food, tin foil, if this is going in a chafing dish, and there's a reason I'm using that. So first things first, I'm gonna move everything over. So I wanna have all my layers ready to go. Now, if you don't like meat and you want a vegetarian style lasagna, you can certainly chop up a lot of vegetables and cook them down in your sauce and make like a primavera sauce. And if you have issues with that, you can send me a message below and I can give you some tips on that. So you can omit the meat. If you don't do dairy, you're screwed. Sorry. This isn't your dish. So this is how I'm doing it. So I've got my lasagna noodles all prepared. I've got them on layers, okay, with parchment, okay? And there's a reason. You want them to be al dente, which means to the tooth. So they're not like totally limp, but you want them cooked. They have no bake, and you can do that, but I think this turns out better. It's just my personal opinion. Nice to have all the cool appliances. Yeah, well, yeah, yes and no. All right, first thing, I'm gonna ladle some of this beautiful meat sauce in the bottom, okay? And you don't need a lot, just want some in the bottom. Look at the texture of that sauce. Is that gorgeous? Can you see it? It's so beautiful. And then I'm gonna layer in my noodles. And again, I don't like this pan. This is not what I would be doing, but this works for what I'm doing, okay? And I'm gonna just make as many as I can with what I've got. My son's giving me the look. So I'm gonna slightly overlap these, okay? And they were, you know, in nice season. See, very nice. And then I'm gonna take, this is my ricotta mixture, no cottage cheese, none. If you're doing cottage cheese, I hope I've converted you, okay? Don't do cottage cheese. I'm gonna add some of my ricotta mixture. Just like to say ricotta. And I'm just gonna kind of pat it on. Now the reason I like to whip my ricotta beforehand because the eggs, I want it fluffy. That's what I'm looking for when I'm cutting open a lasagna. I hate when it's like runny and grainy in there, you know what I mean? And that's another thing, you want your sauce kind of thick. That's another reason why I kind of emulsify the meat in it. I want a really thick sauce. I don't want this lasagna to be so watery, okay? It's one of those things that you want to kind of have it stand up, okay? Can you see it? Am I inspiring you? Am I inspiring you not to buy cottage cheese, or am I inspiring you to make lasagna? Now, my ricotta has cheese in it already, but I'm just going to add a little extra cheese because I like cheese. I don't know about you, and I don't know if the teachers like it, but I'm assuming they do. And you know, our teachers are teaching our kids, you know, or your grandkids, or, you know, or your cousins, or whatever. And, you know, it's a hard job, so they deserve to have the best, right? So the best ingredients. So now I'm gonna go for my second layer. Now, I like to go the opposite direction. Does that make a difference? I don't know. I just like to do it that way. You don't have to do it that way. It's totally up to you. I'm gonna ladle a little bit of the meat sauce. Can you see the texture of this gorgeous sauce? Is that beautiful? Now, as I kind of get into the layers, as I build this, I don't smooth it out so much. I kind of like it to look a little chunky. And if I was making this at home and I had all the ingredients to make a really beautiful, like if I invited you to dinner and I wasn't making like 8 million pounds of it, I would do fresh torn mozzarella instead of grated, because I love just tearing it, and you know, fresh mozzarella is really gooey, and just putting it in there like in pieces, it's so good. But I don't have it, and you know, I just found out last minute that I was making this, and it was just sort of like, you know, bada boom, bada bing. Now these noodles going the opposite way because this pan's a little small, I'm just gonna kind of tuck them in, and they'll be fine. You know, just make sure if you're bigger on one side that you kind of alternate so that it's not so noodly on just one end. Those people just like gain an extra 5 pounds from your noodles, huh? Okay. And you're just building the layers. And this is the fun of it, honestly. I love this part of just, you know, creating this beautiful lasagna. Okay. So I've got my layer. I'm going to add my ricotta mixture, a beautiful ricotta cheese, fontina, provolone, mozzarella, Asiago, Parmesan, nutmeg, eggs, and parsley. Okay? Don't have to have that many cheeses if you don't want to. And again, I'm just kind of spooning it on, and I'm kind of fluffing it out a little bit. I don't want it to be like so perfect. I like kind of artisanal looking food. I don't know if you guys do. I don't like everything to be so Stouffer's frozen, you know what I mean? Anyway. See, this would be like if you were just at my house right now. We would just be talking, I'd be talking to myself, you know. All right, it's getting heavy. I'm starting to get, what kind of ricotta? This is Galbani, because that's what I have on hand, and that's what my grocery store carries. But full milk ricotta, no cottage cheese, all right? All right, so I did my layer of ricotta. I'm gonna add just a little bit more cheese, because, you know, a little is good, but a lot is even better. And again, fontina, provolone, mozzarella, Asiago, Parmesan. I think I got it all. All right. This thing already weighs like 10 pounds. Okay, see it? And I'm gonna go in for one more layer. Now, I want to move this over. Let me get something really quick. Here we go. I want to move this over here because I don't know how much you can see, and I want to show you without like having like a total malfunction. It's so heavy. Just, can you see how beautiful the texture of this sauce is? It's so rich and meaty. There's still chunks in it. Can you see it? Can you put a thumbs up? Try Polly O New York style ricotta. Where am I going to get it? Are you going to get it from me, Vince? Is that through Cisco? Hook me up and I'll do a video on it. Look at how beautiful that is, the texture. So trust me, when you just cook everything in there, your San Marzano tomatoes, you just tear the basil, throw it in there. Garlic, I mince it a little bit, or I crush it and I just throw it in. I mince my onions pretty small because you're going to use an immersion blender later, and it's going to just be so gorgeous. I mean, just look at the color and the developed flavor in there. It's going to be so good. I hope I can taste some of this, you know. It's not for me, and I'm going to be like in line. I'll just pretend like I'm a teacher, and I'll just be like in there, just get a little lasagna. I want to taste it. Okay, I'm going to add another layer of sauce on here, and I'm going to be doing these all night. All right. Oh gosh, it smells so good, you guys. Garlic and oh. I really like using Italian sausage in there, but look at, I just splattered myself. I love using sausage, but I also add extra fennel. I just like the flavor. I don't know if you guys like fennel, but I like it. I'm gonna go for one more layer on here. I know it's kind of like tippy toppy. And I think on this layer, because it's so thick on the top, I'm just gonna kind of do a lasagna noodle and just another layer of sauce, and then just top it with heaps of cheese. This is where it's really nice to do a bechamel sauce. So a bechamel sauce, if you're not familiar, is really easy to do. If you look on my Foodie Princess YouTube, which I hope you guys have all subscribed, help a girl out. You know, you guys watch me on here, and that's great, but I really need you to go over my Foodie Princess site, Foodie Princess YouTube, because I need you to subscribe and I need you to share my videos from YouTube. That's the bottom line. I do need that. I do the videos for you guys, but it would help me out a lot if you guys would do that. I'd appreciate it. I show you how to make a bechamel in like my macaroni and cheese. So that's how I make my macaroni and cheese, is a bechamel sauce. So bechamel sauce is basically taking good quality butter, and I always say good quality, that goes without saying, butter, and then you're gonna put some flour in it once the butter melts, and you're gonna use a whisk, okay? So you're toasting off the flour taste in there, then you're adding room temp, not cold, milk, full fat, okay, whole milk. And you're just whisking it slowly over the heat, continually stirring, and you're making this beautiful white sauce, which is the base of so many different sauces. They talk about like the great sauces, the original sauces that you can make that turn into so many different things. A bechamel is that type of sauce. And that's also a sauce that you add nutmeg to, okay? So you could do a bechamel sauce and just have it be the cream, the flour, the milk, whatever, and the nutmeg. Add your, do your grated cheese and just pour that bechamel on the top and then bake it. And then that creamy, warm, beautiful white sauce is gonna mix with the cheese that you already put on top, and it's going to be fantastic. Maybe I'll do one like that later. I don't know. I gotta feed my family still. I haven't even like begun to think, what time is it? It's 5:30, yeah. My kids are gonna be like, what's for dinner? I'm like, I don't know, we're making lasagna for somebody else. But that's what I would do. I would do a bechamel on top, but you know, this is still gonna be fabulous. So I'm at the top. Oh my gosh, this is so heavy. Is it gorge? Tried Malkin once dang noodles kept breaking it was something. Okay, so you want to do your noodles al dente in a big old pot. That's the key. You don't want to overcrowd. I do one batch at a time in salted water. I take them, if the package says 8 minutes, I take them to 6 minutes, literally. Turn off the heat, and then I just take them directly out one by one with tongs on a prepared baking sheet lined with parchment, okay? Can you see that? And that's how you want to do it. You want them, you know, laid out like that so that they're easy to get. Okay? You don't want to rinse them. And please don't put olive oil on them or anything like that. It keeps the sauce from absorbing. No olive oil. Okay, so we've got our 30-pound lasagna. I'm just gonna do another just light meat sauce on here. Again, I like it to look a little artisanal. Just put it on there because you want the noodles to kind of be covered or they get dry. And it's really important to cover this with foil when you're cooking it, baking it. And then it's really important when you bake it that you let it sit for a while before you cut it. Why? Because it's piping hot. I mean, it's like a lava, okay? And so you don't want it to like be goo. If you don't let it set, so you want to bake it, you know, at like 375 for like an hour, whatever it is, you know, depends on your oven and how much you're baking at that time, covered, and then I just take the cover off at the end. And I really do like that method. If you're doing something different, let me know. Maybe you've had better success with something else, but I like it to kind of steam. I'm always talking about how don't cover things, don't let them steam. For this, I kind of like that because you want everything to kind of melt together, because it's you know, you're cooking, there's raw eggs in that, so you want that to really get to temp, okay? And then at the last few minutes, especially if you're doing a bechamel, I pour that on at the end and just let it, you know, beautiful, okay? And I'm gonna add my last layer of cheese. And again, this is a mix of like 8 million cheeses, you know, whatever I had, I put in there. Italian cheeses, there's no like Swiss cheese or Monterey Jack or, yeah, please don't put like cheddar and, you know, Italian cheeses, please. I'm sorry, I'm judging you. Cottage cheese or cheese that don't belong, I just don't do it. Don't do it! Okay? So this has 8 million layers of cheese and, you know, you don't want it just to, you want people to be like, oh my gosh, that's a labor of love. And this, I would love to weigh this because this is so heavy, okay? I wish I was doing this in a glass pan and you could see the layers and it would be so pretty. I have a lasagna dish that I bought. It's a metal and it's really deep. And I love that because I love a really deep lasagna. And I like to reserve sauce when I'm serving it. So like, obviously I can't really do that for when this is, you know, going to a school. And I've got to cook it here and I've got to take it there. So, you know, it's a different situation. But if I was inviting you to dinner and I would reserve some of this beautiful meat sauce so that when I serve it to you, I'm going to spoon some of that sauce on the top and throw a little fresh Parmesan and a little fresh parsley or a little basil leaf on there, bada boom, bada bing. You can serve it with a caprese salad, so beautiful. I actually have a video on my Foodie Princess YouTube on how to make a beautiful caprese salad that is so impressive. Go watch it. It's something for Valentine's Day. This would be a great dinner for Valentine's Day. I mean, what says love more than pasta? You know, it's like, it's an aphrodisiac, isn't it? I mean, who wants like a big belly of meat on Valentine's Day? You want to kind of like have a little spry energy. Sugar from the carbs get you activated. But the caprese salad is gorgeous and so easy to make. It's on my Foodie Princess YouTube. It's super simple. It's a couple-minute video. And that, with this, would be a beautiful, with a bottle of wine if you drink, if you don't, whatever. What a great Valentine meal, right? And if you don't like lasagna, go on my Foodie Princess YouTube. I've got prime rib, I've got ribeye steaks, I've got filet mignon. I got it on there. I got you covered. Compound butter and, oh my gosh, I have a chicken piccata on there that's beautiful with a lemon pappardelle pasta that's like beautiful. There's so many things on there. I need you to go over to the Foodie Princess YouTube. Click subscribe and share my videos if you would. If you've got foodie friends, click share and share them. I really would appreciate that. I work hard to do these videos and I feel like I need a little love. I'm feeling lonely and I need a little love. I need a little food sharing love. So here's lasagna. If you have any questions, hi John. Cool New York steaks for velvet. Yeah, John Filling Corner Butcher Shop. He's got your hookup. So just click Corner Butcher Shop and you can go over there and see what he's doing. But this is a beautiful meal and I'm telling you, I had my kickboxing class today, but this is like a workout to lift this. Now I just have to make 3 more of these. So if you have any questions about what I did, again, rewatch the video. I'm going to put it on my Foodie Princess YouTube in like 10 minutes. So it'll be there if you feel like watching it tomorrow. It's all good. This is something that's a labor of love. You want to start this sauce, you know, early in the day so that it's cooking low and slow. And the flavors develop. And that's the thing. Flavors need time. You can't rush love, you guys. You can't rush it. It's just like a real love. Like food develops slowly. You know, our friendships develop slowly. Our love develops slowly to make it solid. So it's the same thing with food. You want to develop it, love it, coddle it, throw your basil in there, talk to it, make sure it feels like you're giving it the attention it needs. Respect the food. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Respect the food. All right? I hope you guys have a great evening. I think I'm making cereal for my family tonight that I'm hoping the teachers at my kids' school will enjoy this lasagna. And if they don't, I'm just going to duck out of with sunglasses and pretend like I have no idea who made that. I have no idea. Some weird lady down the street, not me. All right. Have a good one, you guys.